How are you, buddy? How are you getting on?
Good, lads. Good. Doing well.
Any crack?
I'm sitting in bed, waiting to go training.
Nice.
So I done a bit of training this morning. Now I'm waiting to go back.
Thanks for giving us the time. We
No
won't
problem.
keep you too long. First things first. Any word on an opponent yet for London?
No, there's no opponent. Well, that I know of so far. Normally, I don't even know when there's an opponent. I just get told of a fight, and that's it. I'll just get a text off Chris. It's on. I'm like, okay, cool. He'd be like, we'll talk to you later. I don't get a say in any of this.
Okay.
It's just fighting. But no opponent so far. Just a date. So hopefully Graham and Ian will be on to Chris now. And again, I'll just be told there's a fight. So I know there's a date. I know when I'm meant to be there. So for me, it really doesn't make a difference. I'm always training the same way, and that's to just improve my game.
I was just going to ask that. So obviously, you don't train for an opponent. You just train the same way, regardless.
Yeah. So obviously,
Come fight camp then, yeah.
A lot of pullouts. Okay, there's a lot of injury can happen. What we do is so aggressive. Our fight camps are so aggressive that anyone can pick up an injury or anyone can get sick, and it's understandable. I mean, now there is cases where I don't know if that's the truth, or where some people are sick or they do get injured, but you can't get into that. You've just got to fight whoever's been on the night in front of you. But yeah, I feel like if I train for a specific person and then they're not there on the night, mentally I think that'd throw you off a bit. So for me, what I do is I train to improve my skill set wherever I want to take the fight, wherever we want to take the fight. So if we're against a southpaw who's a really, really snappy jab, we'll react to that. We'll work on little things around certain aspects of whoever we're going against, their game plan, work against their game, but we'll mainly stick to improve my game. And that's just, it's worked so far. So
why change a winning formula?
Yeah. But do you think because you have the hype behind you and you are the hype train so far of Cage Warriors, you could pick opponents if you wanted to? You could go to Graham and say, look, I want this guy, or...
Yeah, no. I believe I probably could. I'm not going to, however, because they've proven time and time again that they know exactly what they're doing. They don't rush fighters. They don't... Like, I'm sure if they wanted to, they'd throw me in there with someone who they knew I could fight against to prove a point and to go in there and go, this kid is legit. Here he is against one of the best opponents in UK, Ireland, and Europe. Let's give him the test. But at the same time, they're building stars in their minds. So, like, I've said it again and again and again. Jack Shore is a perfect example. They didn't rush Jack Shore in any way. They gave him the fights he needed. They gave him the fights that had to happen. They tested all his games. So they tested his stand-up with really, really, really good, aggressive strikers. They tested his ground game with good grapplers. And he slowly got better and better and better. And, well, he was the Cage Warriors champion, defended it, and is now in the UFC and went in and dominated in his first pro debut. So, or his UFC debut. So you can't really argue against what they've done. And he's one of 90-plus fighters that they've done that to. So I just have my trust in their hands, and I know that they've done this before, and I'm not their first rodeo, and they'll be there to push me every time and to make my skill set excel down the line. And then eventually, if all goes good, I'll be going to the UFC.
On that topic, have you heard of any interest coming from abroad yet? Any of the bigger organisations? Anybody making phone calls or anybody watching you?
Mate, head to the ground, and I just keep busy. I don't get caught up in all that stuff.
So that's what your team's for?
Yeah, exactly. It's nice, it's nice to maybe hear a couple of things, but like I keep my ear to the ground and I just train. Me and my club have something special going on there out in Swords and Team KF, and we're all putting in the hard work, and we're slowly becoming one of the best teams in Europe. So we just got to keep the grind, and we get a lot of hate because we win. So it's we just got to keep doing us. But yeah, no, I just have my team around me and good friends and good family, and that's all I really care about. Any interest, I wouldn't know.
I suppose it would only harm you. It would only harm you at this stage to be focusing on something like that, wouldn't it? And not focusing on what's in front of you at the moment.
Yeah, if I did hear about something like that, I think Chris would give me a hide in the next day just to kind of level the playing field a little bit. So, don't worry about that. I'm always humbled in that gym with Chris and Tom. Definitely will be with Tom forever. I tell you that. No way I'm beating him in jiu-jitsu. So, but no, the gym is my level. That they're what keeps me humble. I mean, if I wanted to go out in the lash every weekend and have people in my ear telling me I'm the shit. Oh, you're going to be the next Connor. You're going to be this. It's like, I can do that, but I don't. I'll go out for a beer or two over the Christmas and I'll leave because I want to be at training the next morning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I have had a couple of days over the last couple of weeks where I have ended up in bed and stayed in. So,
Will you take time off over Christmas? Like, will you take the week off, take 10 days? What will you do?
No. I've had my little break. So, like, I'm back in training 2-3 times a day, whichever, depending on what I can get done in the day and if my strength and conditioning coach is available or what lads are available, because obviously Christmas gets really busy and people are caught up with family and all that. And that's understandable. But I'll be getting training in whenever I can with all the lads in the gym. So I'd imagine it would be 1 or 2 a day every day now up till the new year. I wouldn't be imagining it'd be too hectic, but it'd still be ticking away nicely. So,
yeah.
And then once it comes the 1st of January, straight back into the hard work. That's when I'll start my camp for London.
On the topic of your team, there you kind of brought it up. I mean, Team KF, they're on the rise massively. I mean, last week you had another 2 championships going back to the gym.
Yeah.
I know you don't like to kind of get dragged into stuff. Obviously, we'll stay out of the politics.
We don't. Yeah.
We don't get involved in the politics. But where do you personally see? Yeah. Where does your team rank amongst the gyms in Ireland?
Well, it all depends. Obviously, I know you said you don't want to get into the politics and all this stuff, and that's completely fair. I mean, different gyms have different outlooks, and that's okay. No one's arguing that. I mean, I completely agree with every aspect of it. You can all see what gyms are looking at. So for us, obviously, we want everyone in our gym is to go to cage warriors. That's just because we all want to make the UFC, and we think that's the best option, and that's fair enough. There's a lot of fighters in SDG going to Bellator and fighting. They're all fighting in front of sold out 3 arena. If you want to do that, that's fine. No one's arguing that. But I think our gym, for where we are, is definitely up there. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, my teammate James Webb lost the title, the cage title in his last fight. But like, we still are up there as the top gym, and we're still we're the youngest gym at the top. I mean, there's a lot of amazing gyms out there, like FAI up north. Pat McAllister and Liam Shannon run an amazing gym up there. They've got lads like Paul Hughes and Joe McColgan, and just etc. Like obviously the SDGs have been around for years, and they produce talents like my coach Chris, teammate Carl Pendred and coach Carl Pendred, my coach Tom, and then they're all starting to disperse and go nationwide. So like, I mean, it's more of a case of MMA is booming, and it's any gym can produce a star.
Yeah.
They've just got to have the right mindset and the right people behind them. So we're showing we've got the right people behind us at the moment, and we've got the right attitude. And it's just like, I mean, we're winning, so we're doing everything right at the moment. And if it starts to come to a state where we are losing and we're maybe not as performing as efficiently as we have been this year, there will be definite change to right wrongs that have been made. But at the moment, we're flying, and I can only see it getting better, lads, to be honest, in 2020.
That's one of the that's one of the interesting things I found was it's obviously a very happy and jovial time to be in the gym at the moment. Everything's going well. They haven't had many speed bumps. Obviously, James lost the title, but
cool.
But everything is when you hit that major speed bump, I suppose that's what really tests the gym then, really, isn't it? And do you think you guys are equipped and ready to deal with that?
Yeah, that's what I mean by if the speed bumps. I mean, you see gyms, they get so like they're going on a good patch, and then it comes to a halt. A couple of lads lose in a row, and maybe they start to doubt their training. I don't think what we do can be faulted. I mean, we all put like exceptional amounts of work in. I mean, like I've said this over and over and over again. James Webb is the hardest worker I've ever seen. Right? Like, I mean, what he does week in and week out when he's in camp, leaving his family and friends and his fiance, coming over and training with us and putting in, he'll be here for 3 days and he'll be putting in 9 sessions, maybe more if he can. I mean, Chris has to tell him to stop training because he's like, will you just take a break for a session? You don't need to do that much. And then that pushes me to go, well, if James is doing that much, I have to. So, like, I can't have him doing that much. So I go out and do 9 sessions then. And then the amateurs or all the other pros in the gym are all, it's like a domino effect. So James is at the top, pushing it all down, and then it's just continuing on throughout the entire team.
Everyone's feeding off the energy, off the drive, yeah.
Yeah, and like, we're obviously all devastated for Webby. I mean, he's just, regardless of fighting abilities and all that, he is just an absolute gent. And I just want to see nothing but the best for him. So that was the worst part for me. But like, I think that was just it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It is what it is. But like, our gym is still thriving, and I think next year is going to be bigger and better. Webby's fighting on Manchester, so he'll go back and get a win on Manchester and get himself in the winning wave, and he'll be back in no time. And to be honest, I think he's going to be even better because I think this loss will push him a bit more. And then again, with him working so hard, I'll have to work hard again, and then the whole team will just keep going and going and going. And I'm going to be working my ass off now because I said this. I have a big 2020 ahead of me, and I need to make statements again. I made 3 this year. I need to make a couple more next year.
I've heard you talk about legacy, and you're not in it for the money, that kind of thing. And what it is we're a fascinating part of MMA at the moment where legacy seems to be outweighing championships. Like Jorge Masvidal, it's like he's the most popular star in the world at the moment, and he's not a champion. So going forward, is that your mindset to make the legacy, or are you aiming for gold? Or
no, I would always aim to be the champion. The champion for me is the best in the division. However, very, very few people ever get the chance to make it to that status of champion. So, I mean, I'll be striving to be the best I can be. Obviously, I want to be a champion. I want to be a Cage Warriors champion. I want to fight in the UFC. I want to be a UFC champion. But anything, I've said this, my goal is to be in the UFC. Anything from the second I sign that contract is a bonus.
Yeah.
Whether I win, I go on and have 10 fights and win on 10, or I have 5 fights and I win 5 and I lose 5. That doesn't bother me. But I've been one of the elite people to make it to the world's best platform
stage. Yeah.
And for me to go in there into one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, I mean, the welterweight division is stacked. I mean, the top 20 are all killers in that division. I mean, everyone in the welterweight division is, and everyone in any division are all killers. Like, all fighters are good, but I think the UFC are just on a different level. So for me to go in and just do my best is all I can do, and if that gets me to a world title, that gets me to a world title. I'm not gonna tell you what, I'm not gonna be pissed off about that.
What were your thoughts on 245, Colby and Usman?
It was a great card.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think it was upsetting seeing Max Holloway lose. I really, really, really like Max. I think he's an amazing fighter, and to be honest now, I think they're saying that they're going to do the rematch in Australia. I think Max Holloway will get the better of in the rematch, because I think that was a very game plan orientated fight where Volkanov went in with a game plan. He stuck to it. He didn't steer away from the game plan, and it worked. I think Max didn't expect that, and he had to just go in there and kind of wing it, which most fighters can do. But I think Volkanov just played an excellent game.
Yeah.
I think Max will beat him in the rematch. So, and then that main event was just, I was actually a bit annoyed. I would have there's two such good grapplers, and their wrestling is so good that I would have loved to seen it get into the grappling exchanges.
It's interesting they stood, isn't it?
Were they nervous of each other? Maybe
I think they thought they cancel each other out. I think.
Yeah. Usman came out and said, now, I don't know how true this is. You know the way people say stuff. Usman said that he chose not to shoot. He said he wasn't going to shoot. He never said he wanted to shoot on closes. He said he wanted to knock him out. So he said he was standing. He said Colby was the one who didn't shoot. Now, I don't know. You can take that whichever way you want.
Yeah. Winners write the history, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen a grappling exchange, especially with all the shit of Usman being a Division 2 wrestler and Colby being a Division 1, and I just when you think about it, it was a pretty shite stand-up fight because neither of them are strikers.
Yeah,
they're both grapplers. I mean, both of them do all their work in the clinch, on the ground, pressuring people, and they start fainting for them takedowns. None of them even fainted for a takedown. So they both just were standing there upright, hands up, ready to go. I mean, it was just it wasn't the best technical display of stand-up, but it was enjoyable to watch. I was sitting here. I ended up staying up all night watching it, and then just going, there's no point in going to sleep now. So I stayed up all day yesterday, just googly-eyed, walking around. And go, oh, yeah.
And did you train as well yesterday?
Yeah.
Jesus, fair play to you.
I was training at 11 with the lads. We done some sparring. We done sparring.
Nice.
Quickly before we let you go, the debate raging on between myself and Jay, and we're asking everyone, who's your fighter of the decade?
Right. What exactly do you
See, again, this is the argument. So my argument, I'm saying Conor because what he did for the sport. And his in-ring ability obviously is massive as well. Keane saying John Jones.
I'm going for John Jones.
What is it?
Are you going for John Jones?
He is.
I'm going for Jones, yeah.
So I'm in the same boat as both of you. I can go either way, which is Conor Conor's not okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. John Jones is the fighter of the decade. I've said this multiple times. John Jones is the best fighter, I think, to have stepped into the cage.
Yeah.
Skill-wise, I don't think anyone's come close to him. I just feel he's on a different level. And then there's Conor. This sport wouldn't be where it would be without Conor.
No,
which way you want to take it.
Yeah.
If the question was personality of the decade or character of the decade,
or influence of the decade, I understand. I completely understand where you're coming from.
The question is fighter.
But again, Conor in the cage.
But fighter's everything. It's not just in the ring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say. It depends which way you want to take it. Like a fighter, I'm a fighter and inside and outside the cage because when I get into that cage, I'm a competitor. I'm up against someone else. But I'm a fighter in general because all I do is train to fight. I train to better myself every day. I'm in the gym all the time. My focus is always on fighting, and that means at home on social media. That means in the gym when you're talking about it, when you're doing interviews. That means everything. And no one on this planet has got more attention than Conor has.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Good and bad though. Again, that's another argument altogether.
Yeah, he hit it at the right time. So Personally, I would say John Jones is the best fighter, is the best competitor. He's been the best to step into that cage and beat everyone that was put in front of him. But if you're asking me who I would say has done the most for the sport, I would say Conor. So I can't pick.
I think that's what's going to be for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Depends on which way you want to look at the situation.
Thank you so much for your time, man.
No problem, lads.
We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you come back next year.
And we'll probably catch up with you again on the podcast before London.
Yeah, 100%. Give me a call and I'll be ready.